Hello everybody, my name is the Watching Relic, and check this out, we got MOCs upon MOCs upon MOCs upon MOCs. Welcome to, I'm gonna need to change the angle. So, we're doing a little quadruple update video slideshow review thing. We got Devauk, we got Faevo, we got Veccor, we got Tikka. These are all MOCs that you guys seem to like. Veccor's definitely a fan favorite, for good reason, I'd say. He's my proudest creation. I'll be curious to see if I ever top that guy. Devauk's really solid too. Really happy that I was able to further develop him as a build, and I feel like I've just really gotten Tikka to a much better place in terms of just how she's constructed, how she's proportioned. But we'll get more into this later. The only kind of weak MOC here is Faevo, but he's a little less weak now that I've done some work on him. So anyhow, let's see, who do we want to do first? Let's do Devauk first. No real reason why, just gonna do that. Get out of here, the rest of you. Okay, so we're not gonna do like a proper, like, from the feet up build thing, showcase, whatever. It's gonna be a lot less formal than the usual reviews. Not that the usual reviews are really formal at all. So this is gonna be really especially informal. Anyhow, we're just gonna kind of go over what has changed. So let's see, I gotta freaking remember what I've even done to him. This is one of the first upgrades I did out of this lot. I think the first one. So he's actually been updated like this for a while now. Very excited to finally have him out. So some minor things, he's got some more greebling on his footsies. He's got some little T-pieces and some little Exoforce arms. Kind of helps to fill in the gap in the ankle there, so his feet, they're not quite as well articulated, but they're very solid. And it's actually kind of good that they're a little less well articulated, because his knees are kind of weak, so having really strong ankles actually helps this guy a lot in terms of stability. The knees are weak, not for any weird reason, they're just old sockets. That's it. The biggest, like, change here is really the skirt. The skirt used to just be the two Onua shovel claw things with the little Mystique Gagali armor, and then a Bittle shield on the back. I've added two more Bittle shields, a bunch of Mystica fin pieces. It's utter chaos. I love it. It looks so good from the back, like this pattern of the three shields together. I love that, and the way it makes this really nice, like, triangle shape with the fins coming out. Oh, it looks really nice. I added a chain in here as well for some extra detail. There's probably some other, like, little minor greebly changes that I've done that I'm forgetting about. Lots of little stuff was added as well. As far as how this is, like, constructed, how best can I show this? I guess, yeah, you can see there. No, you can't. There you go. Perfect. You can see the little socket connector in there that connects the Onua claw. I just added this old, like, silver piston piece that you would use on the legs of Titan sets, you know. That may have already even been there for greebling, and I may have just added this stuff on the end of it. But regardless, that's how everything else is attached, and then we have some little Tekton bits going to a ball joint, and another hand connector to attach the other Bittle shield, and then the little fins are done off of that with various little pieces. Nothing too fancy, but it really worked out well, in my opinion. I love how that skirt looks. He just looks very... I mean, like, his full title is Commander Devauk, or General Devauk. No, I think it's Commander. And he is supposed to be that in that sort of role in the story. And so this makes him look like he's of a higher rank, I think. So that's nice. The arms have also been updated a little bit. I don't know if I've actually changed the arms or just the hands. I think the armor on the arms and the greebling is a little bit updated. I think on this arm especially, it's a little bit different. The main thing is that he has hands now that are actually hands and not just Glatorian fists or Hero Factory fists or whatever. I think they were Hero Factory fists, but this looks a heck of a lot better. Yeah, he can actually, like, still hold his sword pretty well. Still like the sword design, simple as it is. It's got the nice little hilt shape and everything. Oh, there you go. Yep, that's something that happens. The ball joint in here has a very loose axle connection, so that's a common issue. There we go. I think the back is, like, exactly the same. I really like this guy. I feel like, you know, one of my big things I like about him is the overall shape of his armament. The way he's got, like, the little Onua pieces on the shoulders and the hips, and it's just like shoo shoo. Like it's, I'm pretty sure I did that exact dorky weird thing with the noises in his original review to describe it, because I love the way that shaping kind of interacts and everything. It has a nice consistent quality to the whole like silhouette, and I think the new stuff on the skirt really just amplifies that. I'm really happy with the way this guy looks. He's one of those MOCs that had so much potential, and I think I've actually like used that potential. So we've already spent way too long talking about that guy. So let's do Tikka real quick. She doesn't have too much different. The story with all these updates, and really why I'm doing them together, is because none of the changes are that major, but they all made really positive like improvements. Subtle changes can make a world of difference. Mocking lesson of the day. Okay, so for Tikka, we changed. It's not a team of people over here. She's falling apart. That's great. I changed the shoulders. They used to be like old Bionicle style shoulders where the sockets are on, like the shoulder joints on the torso are sockets, and then the top of the upper arm is a ball, so the reverse of what has been the case since the Anika build was implemented. It was fun, but it made her shoulders a little wide, and it definitely reduced articulation, which was kind of an unfortunate side effect, which is kind of inescapable with that sort of shoulder design. So now she has just little Hordika necks in there, as you can see, and those work very well, and they go like that. They're not supposed to, so you just kind of hook this little vine piece here, sort of just goes up into that little gap, and that keeps them together decently. And as long as you're just careful with how you move the joints, she's fine. Her arms are skinnier. They're all CCBS instead of partially CCBS, partially old Bionicle. And she has nice little dainty fingers. She just has much nicer, slimmer proportions. I realized, like, she was meant to be a really, really thin, athletic MOC, but she had certain proportions on her that were, like, weirdly kind of chunky. And so I've really slimmed her down, and she just has a nicer, more consistent kind of feel. I feel like her limbs, like, match her torso better. Her legs are slightly different. I think the hooves have been, like, switched around. Yeah, like, they've been turned around. Like, this was the front before. I think they look a lot better this way. I also added another friction adder in her knee, not because they were unstable. Her knees are insanely stable. It's friction adder joints, for goodness sake. It was just for height. And so she is slightly taller. Her legs are proportionally a little skinnier, so her arms could be a little skinnier and a little longer as well. So she's just a little bit taller, thinner, lankier, and I think she benefits from that. She no longer has the big Glatorian Vastus snake armor piece on her butt. It's just a little CCBS shell now, and other than that, she's about the same. I think I've changed some of the, I think like this CCBS piece here, this little shell, was just a solid lime green. Now it's the trans neon green, and I did some other minor stuff like that. Her head hasn't actually changed in the way it's built, but I changed the way the horns are done. They're a lot sleeker. The whole story, this is just like Tikka 2.0, the sleek, skinny version. That's the whole theme. Let's do Veccor last, so we'll take a look at Faevo next here. Really subtle changes with Faevo. I took the big yellow spikes off his shoulders because they looked kind of just, they were attached really in a very boring, straight sort of manner. Just, oh, spikes coming straight out of the shoulders. So now he just has little Borak eyes up there that work just fine to fill in those sorts of gaps and fill out the shoulder a little bit more. And then I used those yellow tail pieces, I guess they aren't really spike pieces, whatever, for these weird little things on his skirt, which just kind of add a little bit of detail, a little bit of pattern, just some unique kind of style and shaping. Kind of insectoid, a little antenna-like. I have no idea what they are. They're just for purely aesthetic reasons, no practicality, but as weird as they are, I think they look nice. Let's see. His toes, I changed the orientation of these little claws. I think they look a little more weird and insectoid now as well. The legs are a little bit simpler and shorter, which I think improved the overall look and the proportions and such. And then he has these wings, which are really kind of odd. They're attached with, you can see there's, you can't really see, it's hard to see. There's a little Technic piece. It's one of the little, like, well, here, I'll just take off the actual wing. There you go, you can see. It's one of these little Technic pieces that's actually on the ball joint instead of a proper socket. And it does bend it a little, but I wouldn't worry about that because every time I've stressed a connection on one of these pieces, it goes right back to normal as soon as I pop it off, no matter how long it's on the ball joint. They're really resilient. I'm sure that's not everyone's experience, but that's how I've experienced it so far. And then we have a bunch of Technic mumbo jumbo, just kind of to attach the actual Mystica wing bits. And I like the way this guy has turned out. I think he's got more to him now. I feel like, an insectoid MOC, there's so much great potential with that. People love making bug humanoids and such, and there just wasn't a lot of realization to the potential in the original version. But with the new version, I feel like I've fully explored, or at least further explored, what you can do with the visual style I was going for. The first version felt very subdued by comparison. Okay, now this boy. So like I said at the beginning of the video, this is my favorite MOC I've done. He's my favorite to the point of discouraging me from making more MOCs, because I feel like I'm just never going to beat him. But don't worry, I'm still making more. For changes on this guy, not a lot has really happened. I added some little CCBS shells to the CCBS bone on the bottom of the leg. It used to just look like that. And oh boy, I now see why people complained about it. There was just one day I woke up and I suddenly agreed with everyone that told me I should put armor on it. We put on new feet. They're the big beast feet with some little Exoforce arms on there for texture. And I think they look a lot nicer than the Paraka feet. The Paraka feet are kind of skinny and a little bit big by comparison. These are just more compact and more solid. He's actually more stable now. So they made a positive practical improvement. That's excellent. I changed his fingers. He now has much more normal fingers. He's still got claws, but they aren't the big, noodle fingers like they used to be, which I used to really like those hands, but I'm just kind of going for something different. I mean, the noodle fingers are fun and unique, but, it was time for a little bit of an adjustment. There was nothing wrong with him. Let's see. I changed one of my big complaints on this guy for a long time has been that he's a very detailed old BIONICLE heavy MOC until you get to the chest, and the chest is just the big, what did it start with? The Ultra Build Incredible Hulk, I think? Yeah, the big CCBS chest, and it was big and bland looking, and so I just added some greebling onto it. And it's nothing too special, it's just a lot of little bar and clip connections and things, and some little spikes and these tail pieces, Exoforce arms, and so on. And it's not much, but it really helps. Just from a distance, when you're not really concentrating on what the pieces are, you just see a more consistent texture on his whole body. I really like how that turned out. And then finally, we come to the head, which I have added a whole bunch of horns to. And I won't talk too much about how they're constructed. I'll just kind of show you what it looks like from the back, because you can actually get a decent idea for how it's done. Yeah. You can see the technique that was used to achieve that mostly. It's not too great or stable of a design. There's a lot of wiggling here. This whole bit in here with these horns is just friction connectioned in there. I guess I could have just said frictioned in there. Whatever. But hey, you know what? This thing looks really nice, and it's stable and well constructed enough that it's fine. I mean, it's just on his head. If it was on a limb or something, it would be more annoying. But the head, if you're gonna have delicate stuff on a MOC, the head is a pretty safe place to put it. It just doesn't get messed with as much, just naturally. So anyway, that's basically all I have to say. I'm gonna back up here so I can put everyone in the frame really easily. For final thoughts on all these guys, I mean, I've already expressed how proud I am of Veccor as a MOC. I think he's look at that, from just a distance. He almost looks better from a distance, he's got a nice presence to him. Anyhow, that's about it. I think Faevo was a meh MOC that is now less meh, and I think I've more fully realized what you can do with a bug MOC. A custom insect head instead of just the big bittle head might be a further improvement to make, but who knows? I've talked about that in the past before. Tikka, I think, was a solid MOC to begin with, and I think I really like what I've been able to do with her here. Devauk, I think even though Veccor is my favorite MOC, I think Devauk is my favorite update, what the update did to him. It's my favorite change he's really coming into his own as a build. I always liked him despite him being kind of on the simple side, and he's really just the whole visual thing there. I'm really happy with it. And then, of course, Veccor is just, my proudest BIONICLE MOC around. And that's awesome. So, anyhow, I'm on winter break now, so I'm probably going to be posting a little bit more. These were updates that I wanted to get out of the way, but after this, I'll be getting back to new MOCs, and I'm not 100% sure what new MOC I'm going to be actually showing you all next, but it should be cool. I have a large reservoir to choose from. Anyhow, that's it. Thank you very much for watching. I am the Watching Relic. This is Veccor, Faevo, Tikka, and Devauk, and I will see you all next time.
Choked on my own